We are live. It is 2:06 Central Standard Time in the United States, 8:06 BST in the UK. This is the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Go to you live this 27th day of April 2025. Look at that. I got the intro right. I didn't stutter or anything. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was perfect, mate.
It only took 4 years. You know, that's pretty good. I mean, at this pace, I'll probably figure out how to be a podcaster in maybe a decade or two.
But
anyway,
I'm still learning, mate. Still learning.
It's all good. So anyway, if you notice, I've got my
TK.
You know, we been watching a lot of the videos. Obviously, the motos come out, and I don't know. I think this is the first time I'm really kind of paying attention because it's they're always coming out with a Razor and they come out with a Moto, an Ultra. And you kind of know it's the Razor 25 or the Moto Edge 50 or 40 or 60 or you know what I mean. But I think this time, especially with the Razors, they have a third Razor now. They have a Razor Ultra now, which is
that's
pretty
what we've
cool.
always had. But you've had it as the Plus. Was
well,
that right?
I think it's the Plus. So there's like a high end Razor. Like usually the high end, the Plus was the $999, pretty good one, and then the Razor normal, right, the non Plus, right, was the $699 or $700, the smaller screen, and then that kind of thing. This is like a spec. This is like a flagship level Razor.
Yeah,
this time around. And I think
it's the one they're pushing.
Yeah, and well, of course they want you to, they want the highest one, but it comes down to with Moto that they have to still address the two elephants in the room, right? It's the OS updates, right? And I don't mind the bi-monthly cadence on security patches. It's okay. It's every other month. It's not a big deal. But they definitely, and because like on Moto, on the G series phones, I mean, just having one OS update in 2 years of patches is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I spoke to Dan about it yesterday, and I said, providing they're giving, let's say, 5 years, right, then that looks like a good proposition.
Right. If it's 2 years, it just doesn't make any sense. No. I mean, well, and then like on the Moto G Styles 25, it is an actual upgrade, right? So as opposed to, you're getting the 6th Gen 3, right? So it's a little better processor. How much better is it? And I don't know. I mean, it'd be different if it was like a 7 Gen 3 or something, but then they couldn't offer it for $399. It'd probably be closer to $450.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And honestly, I've had the Moto G Styles 24. It's really performs pretty well. I think it has to do with the Moto's UI. So
going back to the Razor though, are you thinking about it?
I'm considering it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the Ultra because because here's the thing. I may consider it later, but it would be a while because you know how Moto is. They'll go on sale, and then $399 for the Moto G Styles 25. Not a bad deal, an okay deal. A Moto G Stylus at $299 or $249, much better deal. Better deal. And then and then looking in, and again, that's it again. And then the cameras, obviously, they're having to. I think the Moto cameras are pretty okay. I mean, obviously they're not class leading, but I think they've improved, and I think that's what you want to see out of a company like Motorola. You want to see improvement, right?
What I've seen is decent enough, really. Like Dave was showing us some video, and it's got some good video drops on it. Really has.
I mean, I'm curious to see now. Obviously I think they switched out one of the lenses. On the Razor, I think the interior camera on the selfie camera, I think it's 50 megapixel, which is kind of interesting. Although on a Razor, it kind of makes less sense to have the internal because you could theoretically just close it and then take your selfie.
Yeah, I think that's why they've gone to ultra wide instead of telephoto this time.
Right.
So people doing content can get other people in, and with that ultra wide, I think that's the whole point of it, isn't it?
But I think a lot of people, if you're a content creator, that's fine. But I think probably almost everybody I know would probably prefer a telephoto of some kind, right? That seems to be the preferred for photography reasons, right? Ultra wide's always okay, because you can go back to
Although I say that, Sam, you say that, right? If you look at general. We've said in the past, right, that the target market for a flip is a lot of females, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably a lot of younger females when they're with the moto, the way they're doing it, all trendy and that. And when you look at their usage of their cameras, they probably use the selfie camera or on a Razor, the outside cameras, but for selfies, right? So when you think about it like that, they're probably the right decision. Because I was saying to Dan, right, there's not a great deal of flip competition in the US.
But you have basically the Samsung. That's really all you have.
Yeah. So I think it's it could do really well in the US, the Razor.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, it has name recognition, which is always good. And I think
exactly. Yeah.
And my Wi-Fi looks like it's gonna croak here in a second, but it looks like it's getting weird. Anyway, so if I stutter or stab, just keep plowing through.
I'll plow through, mate.
But I know that's why I keep you around, man. You're not just a pretty face; you're pretty handy around this place. You know, kind of keeping the show going. But I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're going to be taking selfies, right, for women who are going to be taking, or they're going to be taking pictures of, you know, like a mine's comment, like, does a picture of a cheeseburger or the plate of food in front of you have to be $1,200 good? Probably not, right? Now, if you're going to a concert, you know, this is where it gets a little dodgy, right? Because if you're in a concert, the lighting's weird, it's dark. If you're trying to take a picture of a stage, like if you're going to a concert, whether it's, you know, a symphony concert or an actual rock concert or a hip hop or something like that, that could be challenging for a phone like the Razr, because it probably doesn't perform great in those conditions. Yeah. And since you don't have a telephoto, you might be farther away. So again, but I think the selfie use and the day-to-day use is way more. I mean, I don't know about you, but I go to maybe a concert a year, maybe every once in a while. But I mean, I'm definitely out at a restaurant, out at a park with, you know, kind of way more often than I would be like at a concert or a baseball game or a football game or a hockey game. So it makes sense, you know, and I think I just like the fact that they now have the budget Razr, right? That's, you know, the entry level. If you don't want
affordable one,
affordable that you don't want to blow your pockets out, and then you've got the mid one, which is the Plus, which is always a really good one. Now you've got an Ultra that's got a little bit better spec profile, right? Is it worth $1,299? I don't know about that. Maybe $1,000.
Like I said, it'll come down, I think.
But it comes down. I think that's what Raider, and I think Moto knows that. And they realize they're going to probably put it on sale 3 to 6 months in the cycle. And you could probably pick up the Ultra for $799. Right?
When you look at that spec sheet though, Sam, is it 165 hertz inner and outer screen?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I mean, and a lot of I think the edges, I think the last 2 or 3, and somebody can, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a couple of the edges we're at 165 hertz screens, right? Or at least 144 hertz screens, right? Moto has always had more than, it's great. I mean, and you know, I saw that, I didn't actually watch the video, but you know, Wilkin Lee and Geeky Stuff, you know, Paul was, they were going to do their thing, but I'm excited about them. I think they're like, this is the first time I've always paid attention. I've had motos before, you know, and so, I mean, obviously I've been kind of always sort of paying attention, but I really was like looking. The only thing I thought about on the Edge though was I was hoping they would put a stylus in it, you know, like an Edge stylus, right?
I'm waiting for the Edge Ultra.
Yeah, I mean that'll be wild because I'm
that's not been announced yet.
Right, and they've got some AI capabilities, right? They got the circle to search, which is kind of cool because I know on you know I'm hoping that's Android 15 because I think I should get.
It's got to be right.
I should get the One OS upgrade on the Moto G stylus for 24 that I have. So hopefully, but you know, because that's really the only thing that I actually use that quite a bit for stuff. If I'm looking at, you know, I'm trying to, it kind of comes in handy.
Is that your little notepad?
Yeah, I mean, and right, I mean, but I think it's funny that. So that was always the knock on Moto, right? The upgrades and the OS schedule. But now you see this struggle with Samsung and One UI 7. It's like, you know, it's been a rough go for them. You know, and they were actually, this kind of reminds me of what they used to be like 3 or 4 years ago, where they were kind of struggling with updates. And then they had, you know, during the S22 series, they seemed like they really, we're pretty much in line with Google. And then there was a couple. I know there was a few updates where they got the security patch before it was on a Pixel, like a day or two, which was pretty wild. But now we're kind of back into.
I think a lot of people got upset by them.
Well, I mean, and look at the struggle they had just with the 20, like the 24. Think about it when you hear about a Pixel, and you have you have a Pixel 6 or a 6A or a 7 or a 7 series or a Pixel 8. You don't really stress out about the fact that it's like, okay, well, it'll come to the Pixel 10 and then the 9 will get it, then the 8 will get it, then the 7 will, you know what I mean? It's kind of like an Apple situation, right? You're good chance you're going to get it, right? If I were a person holding on to like an S23, they were telling, oh, we're going to give you 6 years of updates or 5 years of updates. Yeah, but when in that cycle is that upgrade going to happen? Like, who knows? I mean, I think the S23 is just starting to get it in the US, but S22s and S21s are still in their update cycle technically. I mean, I don't
these
know
are flagship devices as well.
I don't know about OS, right? I don't know about OS, but I know security patch wise. And if I were a Samsung person, I'd be a little worried right now because Samsung's made that promise. No, and I know, to be fair, Pixel's had a couple of times where I think then they launched it was the Pixel 7 that Android 13 wasn't available at launch. It wasn't just ready.
Got delayed,
yeah. So you've had a couple of little blips with the Pixels, but at least with the Pixel, two things. One, if you're going to get 7 years of security and 7 years of OS, you're probably going to get it, and you're not going to be waiting. I mean, my Pixel, I've got the Android 16 beta on it, so it's funny that it's Android 16 is available on a Pixel, or at least 15. And there's some phones that are sitting there that are sitting on.
I should stick beta on this, shouldn't I? Or beta. I call it beta.
Beta.
UK rather.
Yeah, beta. Right. So and it's pretty stable. It's not release candidate stable. It's pretty. I think it's version 3. I don't know. I did look at it. Obviously it's not release candidate, but we'll see. I think Moto's going in the right direction. I would just hope. I don't know if they have any marketing. I know in the UK they do, and Europe and stuff. I know Moto's kind of marketed pretty well, but I know in the US I don't think they are. And we'll see. I mean, I'm just excited about it. Did you see they have the wood one? Dude.
Yeah, I like look at it, but I like the Alcantara. Is it Alcantara? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Alcantara leather. Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, mate, that one in the green color.
Yeah. I just like the wood. Just kind of reminds me of the old Motos. Remember the Moto Maker? I don't know if they had it in the UK. If they did, it was where you could just like build your own back, and you actually have laser etching. You could put your name on the back. Or
what? The guys on PSC were talking about that.
Dude, I wish they'd still do that. That was such a cool.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to personalize. All the finishes look great on Moto products, so I really like them. I like that blue on the edge as well.
Oh yeah,
and the purple.
They do a good job with the colors. I
really do. That partnership with Pantone, it's cool.
Yeah, really and cool. I just thought the fact that it's actual wood, that's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me again. It kind of brings me back to the Moto Maker. It was cool. Like I said, I'm just excited. I think it's good to see because that means Moto isn't likely to probably fall, like the HTC and the LGs, right? They seem like they're going to stay in that space.
They're good to stay, I think. Right. I think you'll see a lot of razors on YouTube with the YouTubers. That's what they're going to get sent.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's a $250 phone. So again, but now but when it was launched, it wasn't $250. That's a sale price, right? So it's really it's a $399 phone, like the 25 is. But what the cool part is if you're a person that you're like, oh man, I just bought this thing 8 months ago, and now I've got to upgrade. But it's you shouldn't have to. But the fact that you can upgrade and only spend, maybe if you trade that one in, you can sell for $100 or so, and you might still be able to get you can get the other one for $250, $300. I mean, that's still a good deal for the only other phone that's available that has a stylus in it. And you get the headphone jack and expandable storage. So there's the wins there too. Yeah, you only get one OS update.
John, I'd love to see, right? The Edge Ultra. I'd love to see the stylus in that. Oh man,
if they had an Edge Ultra with a stylus. And it had like an 8X, the Elite.
X Elite, yeah. The 8 Elite, rather. Yeah,
yeah, and they had a really good screen and decent battery. Like, I mean, even maybe making the phone a little thicker, go for like a 6,000 milliamp battery. Boy, if they would put a headphone jack, a stylus, a headphone, and they probably won't.
Well, now we're building our
we're building
dream phone, right?
Right. But just think about it. I mean, it's if you could work it. I know it's with the stylus, it's tough, but
yeah,
I mean, but they had a Note 9. Note 9s had headphone jacks and a stylus, so it's not crazy, right?
Can happen.
And then with expandable storage, can you imagine that having a Moto phone that has expandable storage up to 2 terabyte?
Sam, I can't imagine it because there's no chances there.
No, but it's kind of cool.
Wow.
But at least on the budget phones, if something, that's the cool part. If a headphone jack and expandable storage is something you really want, you can get it in the G series and get a good phone for $250. I mean, some of the other ones, the Moto G Play and the Moto G, those are like $180. Yeah, they're a little. Yeah, I mean,
you need to be a motivator, Sam. You really do.
Well, I don't know. I don't think they have motivators in the United States. I mean, I would totally.
I think they probably do, mate. They're pretty big in the US.
Yeah, I got to reach out to somebody, maybe Wilkin or something like that. Maybe email him or something. I know he's a huge fan of the show. Probably doesn't listen, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's a massive fan.
I don't know. Let's see. Do I not think that Motorola Nova should go a bit more budget, like Blackview, like their flip people?
No.
Well, I think honestly, really,
I like what they're doing. They've got a mixture of price points, haven't they? I think it makes sense.
I think they kind of cater to everybody. I think if you go any cheaper, you would have a degraded experience. So I think if you're looking, if a flippable, the only problem is it's how do you get people, and not so much people that are our age, maybe 10 years younger. I'm not worried about those people. I'm talking about, I read some article, and I don't know where it was like a week or two ago, that said that basically teenagers and people in their 20s in the United States is overwhelmingly iOS now. It's like overwhelmingly.
Yeah, and I can't see it changing anytime soon.
No, the problem is for people who are Android fans, those are the consumers of the next 10 years, right? Those are the people who are going to be in their mid-20s, mid-30s, and they're going to stay on iOS. So I don't know.
There is a reason why Android is looking a bit more like iOS.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think the form factors are really going to matter, and I will tell you right now, and I've said it, and I will continue to say it. The day that Apple brings out a flip, an iFlip, or whatever you want to call it, or
I saw a leak, and it was like a fold, right? So it folds out like it was more like the Pixel OG Pixel Fold, right? And it folds out like an iPad Mini size. So that was the aspect ratio. So it was more like the Pixel Fold. And I mean, that would be interesting if Apple did that.
I don't think they're going to go fold. I don't think
they are. I don't think they are. But,
because I don't.
We're imagining today. Remember, we're using our imagination.
Imagine all the phones. Anyway, we're like it's crazy. I just don't think they're going to do it just because I think it eats into their iPad sales, and I don't think their customers.
Yeah, but do they still? Will it though? I don't know.
Because
it's such a high price. They won't care if it eats into iPad Mini sales.
Yeah,
it won't eat into the Pro sales because that's a different animal. It's a different beast.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that. I think they're gonna. I think they're watching where there's a lot of foldables, and I think they were waiting to see, and I think they're now starting to see that the foldable segment's starting to cool a bit, at least in the US. There's not many. There's really no options, really, and there aren't going to be.
Isn't that the perfect time to go though? There's less competition.
Well, they don't compete. They compete against themselves, really. They're not competing against.
Yeah, I know. Well, not when it comes to foldables.
No, when it comes to foldables, but I think the flip is. I think most users probably who use an iPhone, they don't need anything that they need something that they can kind of. I think for their users, I think they would be more comfortable with the flip because when it deploys, it's a phone that they can use.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's a form factor they're familiar with, and I think they can get into it.
Because
I think a foldable is too
everyone
hard
likes
for
a
them.
bigger screen, right? But they don't want the big form factor.
Right.
So
And I
again,
like the fact that you can, with the flip, you can close it and then it's a lot more pocketable.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen, walking down the street and you see women that have it in a small purse,
back pocket, more like,
or back pocket, and literally half the phone is sticking out of the back. I'm thinking, oh man, if they just trip or stumble or get bumped into, that thing's coming out. Or if they bend over to pick up something off like a shelf or something, that thing's going to pop out of their pocket. Whereas if they have a foldable, I mean, it's a lot. It can go into a small purse. Right, if they have a little small purse, if they're out on the town, or because it flips into that, they saw the one that's got like a chain, or it can attach it to their purse, and it's a cute little accessory, or it's got a little cat face, or they can kind of go crazy with it. But it's because and the good part is as opposed to something like the Duo, where you had no outside screen, or a foldable, you can get to, if you got to look at something, you see a notification, you look at it, go, Steve's calling. Okay, cool. I'll talk to him later. And if you need to respond to it, you actually could. I mean, it's a little.
Is that Steve Jobs by any chance?
It's Steve Jobs. No, it's just made up a name. But the fact that it's not just a simple notification, you don't have to wear a watch. You can actually look at the phone and you can actually have a usable screen where you can actually read the entire message. If you click on it, you go, oh, okay, I see that it's. My package is ready or whatever. You don't have to open the phone and get into it. You can kind of just look at it. I think for what Apple users probably would do with the phone and the fact that its posture open is something that's totally familiar to them. It opens to a phone. I think that's the way they're going to go and see how it goes. I tell you right now, if Apple makes an iFlip, they're going to sell millions of them. I mean, they're going to sell definitely just a truckload just because it's new, right? And they'll put a bunch of hype on it and there'll be a bunch of commercials for it. And then that's the only way that foldable, flippable segment takes off, at least in the United States. Maybe it's taken off in other countries. I don't know. Do you see a lot of folds and flips?
I see quite a few in the UK, yeah, because we sell plenty of flips. Remember, Samsung on their 6th iteration, soon to be the 7th. So, I mean, I see a lot in the UK. In Europe, there's a lot of flips sold, but we've got loads of options, right? So we've got the Sam.
Yeah, I think it'll kill the Mini now.
Yeah, that's the only iPad I think it would kill, though. Not any of the others.
How many Minis do they sell? I don't know.
Exactly.
Clearly, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's part of that. But I think also too, I think the Flip is more of a form factor that people could get behind, and also they can sell it for if they do a foldable, it's going to be expensive, right? And if they do a flip,
agree.
It'll be expensive, but they can make it. They can
leverage it.
Yeah, and it's a lot less. So,
because especially when you've got Razer, the high end one, what it is, that's how Apple will like as well.
I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple Z Flips. There was actually a lady. I've seen a couple. Not another Moto Razr though. I don't think I've seen a Moto Razr yet. But I don't pay attention. Like I don't like walk around just like stare at people to see what kind of phone they're using. I do kind of pay attention. I don't. I mean, I know it's crazy. I do pay attention, but I don't. Like I said, I really don't see a lot of motos in general. And if I do, it's the candy bar moto, right? It's a Moto G.
Lower end.
You see a Moto G stylus, or I saw one of the guys I work with. He has an Edge. I think it's like a 22 Edge or 23 Edge.
Oh, cool.
But he doesn't care about phones. I mean, he's one of our devs.
It's not a bad device though.
No, it's a great device. I had an Edge. I really liked it. So, but I agree. It's cool. She had a Z Flip. So, I don't know. I just think that at the end of the day, I think that's the form factor that Apple's going to run with, and they may not run with it at all. And maybe that's just a pipe dream, and they never come out.
I think they will. I really do think they will. I just think they want to perfect it, or as close to perfect it as they can before they roll it out, because it's going to be massive when they do, right? So it needs to be spot on. That's probably their thought process.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to happen. I'll put money on it.
Yeah, Jimmy's mom's got a Z Flip. Okay, cool. So I mean, you'll see him. I mean, I think again, I'm probably one of the few men that I've ever seen that probably have a flippable. I like them. I know everybody kind of makes fun of me and stuff like that, but I like the fact that I can just it's just I guess the part of the reason why I like it is because it's another form factor. It's kind of fun for me, right? I enjoy something different, and I like having different stuff. I like having a Duo. I like having the Wing. I like having a flip and a fold. It's cool when you can.
So I'm sorry. All I can think in my head is Jimmy's mum. It's got a Z flip going on.
yeah.
I said Z flip going on. All right. I wasn't.
Right, exactly. No, I didn't even think about them, but yeah, Jimmy's.
That was in my head. I don't know why. Sorry, I had to get it out of my head.
Yeah,
otherwise it would have stayed in there for ages.
Right, you got to verbalize it. It's just going to noodle around in there in circles, right? It's going to cause a bunch of damage. We don't want that. So
yeah, we don't want damage.
I've got enough damage. Right, it flips more closely priced to a slab style phone. It doesn't have much of an adjustment. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, she again, and I think that's another thing. And he said his wife had a Pixel. Well, she never opened it, right? Because
the outer screen was good.
Well, and that's the thing too, is if the outer screen is so good, I think not. I don't think it would just be people who don't like have exposure to folds. I think a lot of people would not use a fold interior screen if the phone. That's why I always tell people if the outside screen's so good that it negates using it, then you're probably never going to use it. Then just get yourself an S25 Ultra or a OnePlus 13 or
the only thing I will say, Sam, right? Say you do see use case for it, but not too often. I'd say it's worth having, and it will keep the longevity of the device, because opening and closing is what's going to break it eventually, right?
Right.
So if you're doing that less, just as and when you need to, that's probably a good thing for the length of.
Right, but I guess my question is if you're only using a foldable sort of occasionally and you're not using it,
get a tablet.
Yeah, just get a tablet or just stick with the phone. I mean, I get it. You don't want to, but I think they're getting to the point now where we're not on first gen products here. You know, on the Z Fold, it'll be the 7th version of a Fold. You know, and I think if you're worried about durability, you shouldn't be buying a foldable anyway. And there's nothing you can really do about it, right? You can't really do anything about it because it's just gonna, anything that folds like that is gonna possibly fail. But
yeah, I think
it's just, I think you have to use it. I mean, what's the point? It's like people who buy a car and they only.
I think I'm losing
money to spend on a car that. Probably that's okay.
You're back.
I'm back. Well, the Wi-Fi is all jacked up. It's kind of bouncing in and out today. I don't know what's going on with it.
It's all right. It's all good, mate.
Anyway,
Robot Sam.
Yeah, connection going. Yeah, I know. Yeah, here we go. Anywho, I mean, it's just it's a good conversation. It's a lively debate. I'm just glad that Moto is sticking around. I like another Android developer in space, another Android OEM.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of nice. And I think they make compelling products. I think at the end of the day, the only two things you can really knock them on is their cameras aren't the best.
Which I don't think you can knock them as much now because they are progressive.
I think they're better. I don't think they're not potato. Now I know when I had that, I think I did try a Moto G Styles from years ago. Like it might have been a 22 or 23. The camera itself, the camera was okay. The video was terrible. It was
but like I said, the footage I've seen from the 50 Edge Ultra, I think it is, or 50 Edge
60.
The 60. The 50.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, this is what Dave's had.
Okay, gotcha.
It's been some really good footage, and Dave is good at videography. He does some good. He used to do some great stuff on his channel with video. Not many people were doing, but yeah, it really did showcase it. It was good stuff.
There you go. I think that's a good idea for you, Michael Pepper, to do. You can a photography channel that focuses on self-portraits and called Censor Yourself. That's pretty good. You can teach you about portrait photography. Absolutely. I think that's a good plan. I'm not going to do anything photography based because I'm not about that life.
Go to Michael Pepper Tech for Censor.
Yeah, maybe you can copyright it and sell it to somebody and make a couple bucks off of it.
Yeah.
So it's a good time, and I just think
I've got to show you something, Sam. I've got to show you something, right? It's quite exciting.
Okay.
You might not think it is, right? So, the Ray-Bans Meta. I love them. Meta Ray-Bans, really like them. And in the US, you get loads of assistants, but in the UK, you don't get many good ones at all. You get hardly any. But there is one on the list, one celebrity, and it's Judi Dench.
Okay, Dame Judi Dench, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's going to work because it might be quite difficult to do. But I wanted let you hear what it sounds like when I turn them on.
Okay.
She reads out the battery life. Let's see if it'll work because it's going to be quite difficult to.
Okay.
She reads out the battery life. Let's see if it'll work because it's going to be quite difficult to.
Okay.
She reads out the battery life. Oh, what the fuck's going on?
Are they
no,
connected? Yeah, they're
yeah, it's connected to the
Bluetooth.
Right. Yeah, I Bluetoothed it to this, didn't I? What an idiot. Right. Let's try that again. I'm going to close them, open them again, because I want you to hear Judi Dench.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Drum roll. Right, let's see if this works. Come on, Judy. Oh God, she's not listening to me now. Hey, Meta.
Is there a button you push or something, or how does it? Like, how do you trigger?
This is how tech works, right? When you try and showcase it,
it doesn't work.
Bloody do what it's meant to do. Every day I put these bad boys on, and Judi Dench goes, "The battery is 100%."
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful, and I wanted to share that with you, but it's not doing it when I ask it to.
I'm so disappointed. I was hoping to hear it say. I honestly, I wonder if you can. I think can you put prescription or even progressive?
Yeah, you can put prescription lenses in these. Yeah. So I'm going to try one more time because I love it. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have YouTube going on this time in the background. Right, third time lucky, yeah? Should we give it another go?
Yeah, might the hell. We got another half hour, so fuck it. Might as well.
No, fuck it. Come on, Judy, don't let me down.
She's ghosting you.
She's literally ghosting me. Unbelievable.
That's depressing.
This is madness. I put them on every day. Every fucking day.
Well, I mean, hey, do you put them on and they're not connected to Bluetooth? Do they have to be maybe connected to Bluetooth to trigger the?
No, I've reconnected them.
Okay.
Judy, what are you doing to me?
It'd be funny if it was. Here's the thing: it would be funny if it was Judi Dench, right? And then another version was Judge Judy. That would be hilarious. Judy. Yeah, that would be great.
That might be in the US version.
Yeah.
Notifications. Yeah. It should still be coming.
All right, let's see. We got some chitty chats here. Let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, you have a look at that while I see how I can figure out this.
Michael Pepper had the Flip 3 and 4. The major thing was battery. Yeah. Oh, a OnePlus Flip. Oh yeah, that would be cool. But it seems like it's like they don't do both. Only Sam's. Well, I mean Huawei. I guess technically everybody else.
Well,
right?
Oppo do though, which
Oppo but I'm saying it's like Pixel makes the fold but not the flip. Right, the fold, not the flip. Right.
Yeah.
And then I mean, can you imagine a Pixel Flip? That would be pretty cool. And then the other way around, right? It's like so now you've got.
I've got another way of showing you.
Fold, but they don't make the flip. It's like.
Here's one of the voices you can choose. You can always
change
it if you're in settings.
Okay, so you at least hear her give you some options. It's not the battery readout, but that's pretty. It sounds. That's cool. I guess she.
But that's what she. That voice, Judi Dench's voice, tells me my battery every time I turn them on.
That's pretty good. Except
apart from when I'm live on air.
So apparently you're a big fucking liar. That's what you are, because she talks.
Yeah.
But clearly she's giving you message prompts and instructions, so it's clearly Judi Dench. That's kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool to have, if you could upload different voices. If you could, like Peter Griffin.
Should I explore what the US has got? Because the US does have
more options. It'd be funny if you could get all sorts of different. If you could get all sorts of.
See, I'm not going to stick to this, but for the US, you do have.
Here's one of the voices you can choose. You can always change it later in settings.
John Cena.
Is that who it was? Oh, I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
it's John Cena. That'd be your battery life's 100%.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
I'd expect that, right?
That would be hilarious. You know what's funny? They could do John Cena. They could do Meta Ray-Bans in China, and John Cena could still do it because he speaks Chinese. How do you like that? That's pretty good.
Here's one of the voices you can choose.
You can always change it later in settings.
Who the hell's that? It sounds. Is that
Keegan, Michael Keegan.
Michael Keegan? Oh, really? It's Key and Peele. Okay. Michael Keegan, really? Do it again.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Key and Peele are?
No.
Oh, yeah, you're in the UK.
Here's one of the voices you can choose. You can always change it later in settings.
Oh, who is? I know that voice is super familiar. I should know exactly who that is. Damn, who
Starts with an A.
Oh, I don't know, but I know the
One more
voice.
for you.
Okay, hold on.
Here's one of the voices you can choose. You can always change it later in settings.
Oh, shit.
Kristen Bell.
Oh, okay. Who was the last one with the A?
Aquafina.
Aquafina. She like
Aquafina.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Aquafina. Okay, sure. I don't know what else you got.
Anyway, just go back with John Cena.
Here's
Yeah.
one of the voices you can choose. You can always change it later in settings.
Yeah,
Was that coming out clear for you?
you can hear it perfectly clear. Yeah, it's perfectly audible. Yeah,
that just showcases the little speakers in the back here, though, doesn't it, as well?
right. That's pretty good. So okay, so it's just speakers on the armature, right? They're not. Actually...
Yeah, that's why I'm like weirdly going like that next to the microphone.
Oh, okay, cool. No, that's cool. Yeah, you can hear it clear as day. I mean, that's pretty good. Now, when you walk around, can you hear it pretty well? Does it have to be super loud, or can you hear it okay?
You can. It depends where you, sometimes if like I'm on a bus and it's a bit loud, I'll turn it up to the max, and there is a little bit of bleed. But like it's pretty good. Now, I've been on the tube before in London, and I've had to cup my ear like that to hear it.
Oh, because it's just like a lot of ambient noise and stuff.
Yeah, because there's a bit too much noise going on. But yeah, generally it's pretty decent. Like in most day-to-day life, like walking to work on the bus, it's great.
Yeah,
It's great.
that's pretty good.
I do want to get ones that are smaller than this. I can't complain because I was given them, weren't I? But these are a bit big.
Yeah, no, they're good. If you maybe dentures, it's pretty good. Camcorder mode, the flip is like that dude. I tell you that's a feature that I don't think a lot of people use, but I still have my. But I mean, having this, you know what I mean, where you can do this kind of jab, kind of one of these jams, you can kind of go like that, dude. And
you know what?
The screen right here, dude. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
I saw the new razor being used like that.
did you? Ooh, kind of crispy.
Mm.
Kind of, you know what I mean?
That's a sign to get the new one, mate.
Dude, well, I told you I can't use this one because the goddamn, I broke the SIM tray. The cap came off.
Do you reckon you'll get much
Well,
trading for that?
I can't trade it. It's also, you got that too. That does not help. It's cracked. Back's cracked. I dropped it and cracked the corner because I don't use a case on this thing. I never did.
Yeah, that's
but
the
I mean,
problem.
the problem is it turns on. I mean, I could use it. I mean, see, it powers up. See, I mean, it turns on. You know what I mean? It works perfectly fine.
Yeah, it works perfectly fine. It's just
I could get a replacement SIM tray. I just can't get the damn SIM. I can't get the SIM out of there. It's such a tight tolerance. There's no way to get it out. So, but I mean, it works perfectly fine. I mean, I could use it around the house, but it's like, well, it's kind of pointless to use it around the house. But anyway,
you already like using the stylus more though. So,
well, I mean, honestly, if I would use this. Well, and the good thing is, I did hear, and I was listening to our friend of the show, Adam Matlock, and he's talking about that the Razr Ultra, and I think the Razr Ultra and the Plus are going to be available on AT&T and T-Mobile and stuff. They're actually going to be on carriers, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for an upgrade and you want to go to a flip, now you can at least get it into a store and people can actually.
That's what I'm saying. They're going pretty big on it, aren't they?
There might be people who are ready to want to get off of a Samsung device and try a flip, and they don't want to buy a Samsung one, or they're iPhone users that want to try. I think although iPhone users will probably go more for the Samsung because it's a brand they at least have heard of as opposed to a Moto. But I think, especially if you're talking about a phone that costs $12.99, because and if it's at AT&T, it's actually going to be, it's going to be more than that. It's going to be $13.49 because there's always that carrier tax, is what I call it.
So I'll tell you a story, right? I had a customer lady. She had a Flip 3, I think it was. Right, and it kept failing. It kept failing. Like, we'd done a replacement for her. The next time she got a replacement with Samsung, and then for a third time I got a replacement, but I got her the next version of it. Because she just had a nightmare. It just like kept failing, the decrease. But she didn't want to change from a Flip because she loves it.
Yeah.
She goes, apart from it keep failing, she goes, I love this phone.
Yeah. Dude, it's a lot. It's really, really. Oh, guess what?
What?
I just thought of something. You're like, oh man, you're fucked. You have no SIM tray. Look what it's asking me to set up.
eSIM.
eSIM. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's handy.
That's well, if you got a SIM problem and you break your SIM tray, because I mean that, and then this is a problem when you switch phones a lot. But the problem is now you have this big hole. But I could just, what I would do? I take some epoxy, just pour it in that fucking hole and seal it, some bitch.
You just leave it sealed like that.
I don't think it's going to be sealed. It's open. I mean, there's still a gap there where I can't get
the SIM tray's gone.
No, the case, the cap of the SIM tray, it's two pieces. It's the actual the hardware, the actual the chassis or whatever. It's in the SIM. When I try to pop it out, the cap came off, and so I can't get the actual tray out. So I mean, it's a gap. I'm gonna have to. But honestly, if I'm never,
you can just seal that.
Just seal some bitch. Just put super glue or just epoxy. Just fill it in.
I dare say you could get a replacement SIM tray though. Once you get it out.
But I can't get it out. I tried. I mean, I've like almost broke this. I mean, there's no tolerance in there at all to get anything. Like the only thing you can do is like maybe a needle with a little hook, and you can maybe kind of hook it and pull it out. But dude, But you know what? Fuck it. If you could just download eSIM, let's do that. Then why bother with it? And I can still use the goddamn thing, dude. I didn't even think about that.
But what I will say is, you wouldn't want it to be just eSIM, Apple.
Well, I mean, I could continue to use this phone though, because honestly, the only reason I don't use it is because I can't get a SIM tray and I can't switch it.
Actually, what's the noise like in the US, Sam? What's the noise like in the US? Like when they first forced eSIM, was that the iPhone 15, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
Yeah. So what's the noise now like?
I don't. Well, I mean, we did it for Becky. She has the iPhone 16. It's he did eSIM, and it took a while. Wait, how long did it take? Like half an hour for it like finally registered the SIM card?
2 fucking hours.
There you go. 2 fucking hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, it took like 2 hours.
Was that a SIM swap though?
No, it was just activation because we had a physical SIM. She had an iPhone 12, so it wasn't.
That's a SIM swap.
Well, yeah, I mean, she already, but no, I mean, that's the thing with no, it's not, because AT&T for some reason, like whenever I get a phone, I would tell them, don't give me a new SIM card, because they know it comes in the phone. They're like, oh, the SIM's in the phone, we'll just activate it. No, I don't want that. I'll just take the SIM out of my old phone and throw it in. They don't do that. They have the SIM in the phone array, and they just take that number and provision the SIM while I'm in the store. So I don't like doing that. They didn't do that because she was
like a SIM swap in a sense.
It probably was, but it just took 2 hours. But but again, if you're not switching phones, that's the problem I'm worrying about this with the eSIM, is if I want to switch back to like this or something else.
Yeah, for us, it's not good.
No,
it's not a seamless. If you're doing it, if it's just the once into a new device and you're going to keep that device for the long haul, that's fine, to be honest. But for us, it doesn't work.
Probably get a SIM holder. Don't put an epoxy in it. It'll expand. Okay, well, the one I'm going to put fucking glue in it. I just put glue, right? Because glue's not going to expand. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I don't get it. Fuck it. Or just leave it open.
He wants to shove stuff in his phone. I don't know why. He's just like...
And I wouldn't like stuff it in there. I would just basically cover it. I guess you can get
just the sealing. Just get some gaffer tape.
Yeah, just put some tape on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Some hardware and stuff.
Hardware stuff. Hey, Eric's in the chat. Jello. Hello, Jello. Hello, Jello.
Oh, you're saying put Jello in your phone.
Dude, with Jello in the phone, that would be cool. That would be good. Okay. Oh, the tray, you can get that out. I think it's just a needle or something.
Yeah.
A small, I tried a needle and I can't. I don't think they make a tool. It's such a small
You
slot.
need to
and then
make that tool, Sam. You need to make the tool.
I can get, like I said, I can get the needle inside the slot, but then it's like, and I'm kind of poking around to try to. There's like no tolerance at all there, and if there is,
How
it's
about,
super
Sam?
small.
You know, a staple,
Mm.
because you can manipulate that to have a small hook. Would that work? Would it be too thick?
A staple?
Because they're rather thin, aren't they?
I think the staple would. The problem I wanted a staple is does it have enough tensile strength that I can pull it? And it's really small.
Because I use staples to, you know, people's USB-C ports. I use staples to clean them out because it's safe because it won't touch the post in the middle. It's thin enough to get around.
Or activate a SIM card. AT&T and T-Mobile will make you get a whole new card if you go back to a physical SIM. Okay. I need to find out.
What's that? Verizon is the only carrier that will receive a SIM card too.
Reactivate a SIM card.
Reactivate
so that's what I'm saying is like I could use this, right? But the problem is then if I try to go back,
they're funny about it.
None of the physical SIMs, like the physical SIM that's in my Pixel now, will deactivate because you can't have two SIMs at the same time. Obviously, because it's the same phone number.
No, it's a SIM swap.
I think, but what happens is if I try to go, if I go, like let's say I'm using my Flip and then or the Razor and I go back and then I'm like, oh okay, well now I can't because now I need a whole new provision SIM. That's not going to work. Ew, that sucks.
I've seen instances though, right? Where funny things happen. So I had a customer who ported their number from another network.
Oh, I did that.
And the calls were coming through on their through their old number on their new SIM, but texts were coming through on the old SIM because it was still the port was still in play. To be fair, I did explain it would be around 6 p.m. in the next evening, and this was during the day, so the port was still taking place. But it was quite funny though. Like,
I ported my number one time when I tried T-Mobile. Actually, I tried. Well, what happened was I didn't do it on when I tried Mint for a while, but I just tried a new number. They just provisioned a new number just as a tester. So I didn't switch. I didn't port the number over. And what happened was but then when I went and I was trying to use, I want to try T-Mobile for a while, and see if that worked out well. And it worked okay, but then the problem was I had an issue where, the GG had given me that find and
it wasn't working, was it?
Could not get it to work. It was like, what the hell? And so I had to go back to AT&T and port my number, but I had to wait 30 days. So I had to keep using. I basically had to put my SIM, just a regular phone. I couldn't even. And I sent. Obviously, I thanked Gigi for sending me that phone, and I just shipped it back to her. It was like, it just was like, damn, man. Porting it back over. Oh, it was a pain in the ass. Oh,
it can be sometimes, can't it?
Well, I wouldn't do it. If I was going to do it, I would definitely do it as more of a permanent kind of solution. Like I wouldn't test it out. Like if I was just going to test your network, I would do what I did with Mint, right? I just get a Mint SIM, have a completely number, give it like a few days.
Try to pay as you go. Do you have pay as you go in the US?
Yeah, it's like those little I don't know. I get it's pay as you go. I think they have pay as you go. I don't know what they call it. I think they're God damn it. Yeah, it's basically I think
they call it prepay.
Yeah, it's like prepaid. Yeah, they have prepaid. Yeah. A lot of people do that, but I just thought it was kind of cool because the Mint actually worked out really good. I really liked it. But then I thought, well, the problem was I was going to maybe use Mint and then be able to use Chinese imports and all that. That was going to be my Oppo, Vivo, Realme, Poco kind of thing. Right?
Probably saved you money, mate.
It was a lot cheaper. And I actually, the only thing
the fact that it didn't work, it's probably saved you money because you're probably going to import loads of different stuff otherwise.
Right. And then the problem too was that I ran into was out here we were getting kind of weird. Like it wasn't when I was using it never dropped calls, but it seemed like the signal was really kind of weak around here. And I live in a rural area, so but I'm thinking, I think it uses a T-Mobile NVNO. I think it's a T-Mobile, essentially. And it's like, well, the T-Mobile was okay, but man, the T-Mobile was okay, but man, the Mint was really kind of dodgy when it came to be out here. When I was like around town, it was great. It was only $15 a month. It was really cool. Everything was online. You didn't have to like.
Yeah.
The problem too is because everything was online, you couldn't really get anybody on the phone if you had like, issues.
Yeah, that's the fun thing with MVNOs. Like the support isn't as good, which is why the cost is low, right? It's the trade-off. I guess in certain areas you're good to go with Mint.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, and I actually like the service. Yeah, I like the service. I just, so I don't know. Let's see. Same deal as I found. They make you get a new SIM card if you go from a physical to an eSIM and want to go back to a physical SIM. Verizon just pauses the activation. Okay. Well, I have to look into it.
It will get better. It will get a lot better. Because it's still early eSIM. But while I can have a physical SIM, I will keep a physical SIM. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's for sure. I agree. And
I haven't played with my Duo for ages, Sam, and I always admire the hinge that you can just put it in any orientation you want. It just holds.
I'm telling you, I will. I mean, I will live on this hill for the rest of my life. But the hinge, the physical hardware of the Duo, is
unreal.
Microsoft did such an awesome job with that hardware.
Yeah,
it is. The fact that, first of all, the thinness of the device, but also the hinge. And I have both Duos, right? I've got my OG and my regular one, and here's the OG, and I've had this one for a while. And the fact that,
and you have a fold with clothes on you when you do it, dude.
I mean, you have to actually kind of really move it to get it to move. I mean, you have to really. But if you just sit here like this.
But it's smooth at the same time, though.
Yeah,
if you do want to just go like that, it's smooth.
Dude, it doesn't creak. It doesn't pop. No. It doesn't crunch. It doesn't do anything.
Amazing piece of engineering. It really is.
It's a real shame that these things did not take off. It really, and I understand why. So before everybody comes at me, get it. I got it. But man, this thing was such a great productivity tool. Again, I agree. I agree with Juan. It's not a great phone. As using it as a phone.
No, well, I didn't buy it as a phone.
And I like the fact.
I bought it as a plaything.
I like the fact that they tried with the camera hardware, but man, I really wish it's nice that they tried with the camera. And I think they could have made the phone a little thicker, just maybe do like an LG thing where maybe they can get But the fact that when you on the Duo 2, you still. When you try to close it, taking a phone call, there's still just a shade of a gap. That part kind of sucks. I can't, it doesn't fold totally flat. Like obviously the Duo, this is great, perfect. Yeah, right. This perfect, right. But you got the regular Duo, and you try to fold it, and you got that whole, you know what I mean. You got this, and this is the gap. You know what I mean? It's one of these down in deals, and it's just like, again, is it a deal breaker? No.
You must have heard you speaking about it.
I know it's always good when I speak about it. But just I mean, it's nice to do this, right? As opposed to when you try to use this, you got that just a bit of a gap, and it's just enough to be annoying. But what is nice too, though, is because there's a finger gap here, you can kind of, you know what I mean? You can one hand.
Yeah.
It can be done. You can open it. You can't close it with one hand. But I think that.
I need to experiment with some different software on this. I really need to give it a go. Yeah, but I'm scared.
Well, you'll have to do on the original one because for some reason there's I think they have an Android. I think it's Android 14. I think they have Android 14.
Yeah, I think there's a 14 build for it. I really should give it a go. Should basically get the Pixel experience. Although I like it how it is. That's the thing. But I haven't played with it for ages. It's randomly started.
I turned it on my Razer, and it's actually upgrading to November 2024 security patch. Okay, cool. It's a little outdated, but that's okay.
Yeah,
That's cool. Well, it'll probably do it again. What they do is it'll
I
give
mean,
the
you're going to have
November
your
one and
banking
say,
on it,
"Oh,
right?
well, and again, it's a security patch from. I mean, I've used these. I mean, as long as you, if it's that app, you don't have to worry about. It's just, the only thing you have to worry about security patch for, really, for the most part, is really like you're sideloading dodgy shit. If you're getting apps off the Google Play
Yeah.
Store, they're already checked usually, and as long as you're getting it
Yeah.
from Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Bank of England or whatever bank institution you use, I think you're okay. It's when you try to do a bunch of dodgy sideloading.
Probably
bullshit.
are. Yeah. It's just vulnerable to attacks as well, though, right?
Yeah, technically.
That's what-
But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
And that's
I've
what I
never
mean
had-
by banking app. Like the banking app will be legit and will be good, but it's more vulnerable to attacks.
If they made another Duo, I'd put another screen at 1/2. So yeah, at least. Right. I think you have to have an outside display of some kind, just even if it's a strip or at the top or something, just a little small display so you at least can see some notifications. I agree. And GG's, I love water when I'm not having adult beverages. I do too. I'm enjoying the Surface Duo ad that's currently going. Yeah, it's okay.
Not an adult beverage.
Well,
like
yeah, I know. She gave me trouble. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, but I'm just telling you, but hardware wise, it's great. I mean, it's really one of those things where I've had other foldables and stuff like that. And they, like you heard on this, I just listened to it here. You can kind of hear it kind of crunky. It's kind of crunching a little bit. That Duo, I've never heard. Now I've had people say
Can you
that
hear it? I'm opening and closing it. Can you hear it?
So I've heard people
You cannot.
that
hear it.
have had Duos that have gotten a little kind of, you can hear it kind of getting a little weird, but nothing too bad. Having a cherry lime hint. Okay. Cherry is like, okay. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yep. The Surface Duo finally got a good Duo on this channel. Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, I'm still a Windows Phone fan. I'm still a Microsoft Surface Duo fan, and I'm not going to get off of it anytime
Yeah, we
soon.
do suck, Sam. So
So it's okay. But I do like the stuff they're coming out with, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm really looking forward to the Motos. I don't think
we
they'll
are
ever
pro moto.
I don't think they'll ever do a fold, which is okay. But it's a shame because like Michael Pepper said, OnePlus. But if they did a OnePlus flip, that would be kind of interesting. I would kind of like to see, and they did with the
a new
Oppo.
Open first.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. That whole thing is giving me Surface Duo 3 vibes, where it's like they talked about it. They're like, yeah, we're gonna come out. Then they're like, oh, we're gonna delay it. And they're like,
Yeah, we might not bother now.
We're not gonna do it. I mean, don't be surprised if they cancel it. I don't think they will. I think they'll make it a second one. But
Just quickly, what's happened with BBK?
I don't. I mean, we lost their way a little bit. I don't know. I mean, maybe
they split.
Oh, really? I don't know. I don't pay much attention actually.
Electronics split.
I don't know.
So
but like
BBK Electronics, the parent company of brands like Oppo, OnePlus, and Realme, underwent a restructuring in 2023, separating them into independent entities.
Okay. Interesting.
And I think we're starting to see that now as well.
The Oppo's done with they're not doing any foldables, right? They're done with those.
No, the strategy is changing slightly. So I think we're starting to see that.
And I think honestly, I don't think the foldables are going to have enough sales where I think OnePlus may think about just saying, nah. Or if they do make a second one, that'll be the last one they make. They won't make a third. But we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But again, Apple having a flip, that would break the flippable market wide open. If Apple made a Flex or an iPhone Flex or iPhone Flip or whatever, iFlip, yeah, dude, that thing's going to sell like crazy because it'll be cool. Because just if anything, it'll be like new hotness, right? You'll see a bunch of people, especially women influencers and stuff, get behind it like, oh my god, that iPhone's gonna look at this now. Flip. Yeah, it's like no, it's not. It's, it'll be that thing. But I think
it won't be the tech crowd. It will be the tech crowd as well. But it'll be like you say, the influencers in like fashion and stuff like that will have it.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Surface Mini would be sweet. 80 and Surface tablet that could be docked and bring it back Continuum. Oh hell yeah. I mean, I think ready for Smart Connect, right, or Dex. I think those are still such underrated uses for things where you just have to have a display and you can have them. I think a lot of people for just basic computer stuff could get by with it. That would be awesome. I thought I had the old HP the Elite the X3 that had the Continuum and the Surface dock on the Windows Phone, had the dock and everything. Man, that was a pretty cool piece of kit. Like that was the deluxe set had like the Surface, the Continuum dock had like ports on it. It was like a full edge like hub. It was not cheap. Or
Sam, have you heard of Honor's Alpha plan?
No.
Look it up. So I'll talk about it very briefly because we're already at 9 and you're off soon, aren't you? What time do you need to go?
3:30, but it'll only take me 5 minutes to dress, so we got some time.
So Honor Alpha plan, right? I think they announced it at NWC. So they basically want to collaborate with other people with AI to make a smarter world, essentially.
Okay.
So there's 3 steps to it. Let me find it. I'm on here and I can't remember it now. Do you know what? So I'll save it for another show. Right?
Yeah, we'll talk about it next.
But it's quite cool. Like, if they do get the collaborations they want, that's the key part, though.
Yeah, Dexbook or mini Dex. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Chrome OS. Yeah, maybe.
Well, the Next docks are quite cool, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're called? Next.
Yeah. Or where you
the
put the
laptop.
Where you basically just hook it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. And then
I like that concept.
I also like what Razer did. Remember when they had the Razer phone? The actual phone went into where the touchpad would be, so that's where it docked.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Now that was a cool idea, like where they actually had a Razer, essentially a Next dock, but the Razer phone turned into the actual trackpad, and that's how it connected.
Yeah.
In the middle of the chassis.
Trackpads are normally glass anyway, aren't they? So
right. I mean, it was pretty cool. Like that was a pretty cool little deal. Like I was like, man, that's a smart way to do it. Right? And you wouldn't have to worry about adding any bulk or having a cable. Just
why didn't Razer do any more phones?
Because it's not a phone company. Razer is a gaming company.
Yeah, true.
Peripheral company. They just, that's a shame. Yeah, because it costs a lot of money and a lot of time. And look at what Samsung. That's a humongous company.
Yeah.
Look at the development and the app updates and everything else they're having. Like they can't get releases done. And
well, me and Dan were saying last night, is it the end of Sony or is it near the end of Sony? It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Sony's done. I think they're. I think at least in the US, definitely. I mean, or they may not. I think.
Yeah, they pulled out of US, and now they don't seem to be in any carriers in the UK now. I can see.
Yeah, I think Sony's going to eventually, maybe a year or two, or they may only offer phones in like the Japanese market, and that's really it. They'll just be like a boutique brand, and they'll come out with one phone a year. Be like
maybe.
Which is a shame because I think the Xperias are great. I really think I've had a couple. They're really cool, but we'll see. But anyway, well. I mean, it's a lot to talk about. That's why we have other shows. That's why we're going to come back next week and talk about some more. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
We'll
try and get a guest. If not, you're stuck with us.
Yeah, which is okay. I mean, it's okay. And thanks for Michael and Gigi and Eric to come in and listen to the show. And I see Luis in the chat. And Jimmy, as always, great guy. Jimmy, I saw
Jermaine.
Jermaine was in there too. I saw him pop in. So yeah, we got a lot of great. I'll also mind your helm. He's in there too earlier. So yeah, we'll see.
Shout out to all the audio listeners as well.
Yeah, everybody who listens to the podcast and
who you are.
We don't know. I just know how many times it was downloaded, and
we appreciate you.
We always love it. And it's just kind of cool because I don't know about you, but when you tell people you do a podcast, they kind of look at you like you're crazy. And then you show it to them, they're like, "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah."
Oh, I don't need to tell them I do a podcast for them to look at me like I'm crazy.
Right, exactly.
That just happens anyway.
Absolutely. And then Michael Pepper text could be available again, so that's good. Yeah, we always appreciate that. Also, we were going to ask the captain, but he's in Japan, apparently doing some stuff. I guess a vacation or
being a captain.
Being a captain, so we'll try to get him on as
vacation.
well. And he's on vacay.
On another planet.
Well, you're in Japan. It's pretty close to another planet. At least you're pretty wild there. But it looks like a cool
trip. In a nice way, by the way. Yeah. Any Japanese followers?
No, it just looks like a completely different world, like a complete culture shock. It's, and also my Japanese is terrible. So, but it looks like a lot of fun. Maybe it's one of those trips. Maybe you never know. Who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe I'll visit there someday. Who knows?
One day, when Sony invite us over. Yeah, their MedTech project.
Right. I get a better chance of being on maybe a Motorola event. That'd be cool too. All right. So for me and Joe, so for me and Joe, thanks for tuning in. And remember, to skin your shit, remember to go to extremeskins.co.uk. Go check them out. If you don't like the color of your phone, you want to change up the color, go and do all that kind of stuff. You know, you can check them out. They have sales, all that kind of stuff. Skin your shit, get that done. Also, yeah, we'll see. If you're looking at the moto, I think the releases on May 7th are getting pretty close, and obviously, you know,
So
the rest of the stuff.
just quickly with Extreme Skins, they've got some new thing where they're doing cases again called Custom X. So yeah, you can get. It's only for select devices at the moment, but yeah, you can get the case and then the skin on the case.
Okay.
As another option.
There you go. So it sounds good. So check them out.
And guess what devices?
iPhone.
Pixel and Samsung.
Oh,
but
really?
it's early doors for that, and that's 50% off at the moment.
Yeah. So check them out if you're looking for a case too, not just a color combination, but if you're looking for protection, yeah, check them out and see what they go. It's all
And for the next 3 hours, buy one, get one.
Right. Buy one, get one. So there you go. Yep. So get your skins, get your shit skinned, get a case too. What the hell? Why not? So you got protection and you got some color. Be kind of cool. All right. For myself and Joe, thanks for listening. Download the podcast afterwards. I'll have it posted probably tomorrow because I got stuff to do. Won't be tonight. I've been pretty good about it, but I got shit to do. So for myself and for Joe, I try. So enjoy you stopping by and listen to us and tell over your friends and let them know and download the next time. We'll be back next Sunday on the Nomad Terror Project with Sam and Joe. And don't be a dick and try to enjoy your tech and have a good week. Catch y'all. Take care.
Bye-bye.